Welcome to Doom Scroll. I'm Matthew Sheffield.
And I'm Lisa Curry, and today's guest is my friend and hilarious comedian Ramsey. How are you?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm doing fantastic. I'm on my second monster of the day, so I'm good.
You kind of sound like you're being held hostage.
Well,
I am doing fantastic.
that's kind of
Well,
my brand, is sounding like
Yeah.
I'm being held hostage. What you guys don't see is somebody's pointing a gun at me on the other side of this laptop.
to
Yeah.
make you download Google Chrome.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard they've
Um,
been sending out, a militia to do that to people, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, Google, you got to do what you got to do to capture the market share, you know? You don't
yeah,
Yeah.
want people on Safari too much.
mm,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Well, you know who else is dodging militias? Mike Pence. Although I guess maybe not for long now that he's dropped out of his presidential campaign. Wah, wah.
Yeah, I love that his statement was like, "It's just not my time." Okay, bud. You think it's coming up?
Am I the only one? I might be the only one in America who's sad to hear this news. I I was looking forward to more hilarious Mike Pence moments,
Yeah.
more calling his wife mother and all those great. I mean, what a great. He was such a hilariously villain-esque. Oh gosh, he was such a hilarious villain candidate. So I was getting a kick out of it. So I'm a little sad to see him go. But did you guys see the Trump's statement on it?
Oh yeah. He was like
Oh, I
trying
missed
to.
it.
No, yeah. Trump was saying like, yeah, Mike Pence should endorse me,
Yes.
and which like that is such perfect chutzpah. Trump is so good at that. But
You know
yeah,
what
it's
though?
like
Mike Pence probably will.
Of
'Cause
course. Yeah.
he's
I
such
can
a
see
moron.
that. But yeah,
Yeah.
and it's also funny. Like all the other Republican candidates are also trying to say how great he was, and it's like, and it's like, so yeah, just so the audience knows, if we can't edit this out, the Lisa's dog is going nutso in the background here. So luckily she's muted, so you guys won't have to hear it all.
Somebody decided to ring the doorbell, probably to sell us shit. So that's cool.
People
Yeah,
still do that. People still go door to door to sell things.
or to
She's
just
actually
coming.
announcing her run for president, which
Yeah.
which I think would be good
Yeah.
considering the streak we've been on. I feel like she's the right candidate.
I think a dog would be pretty much would steer this country right in the right direction. It's the only thing that unites to both the right and the left is dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly get more votes than Mike Pence would have. That's for
I
sure.
think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, I guess there is somebody who started his presidential campaign in the
Mm.
past few days, which it's a story like I don't even know why this guy is running for president. Dean Phillips, who's a
Mhm.
I mean, what I don't even is it Minnesota where he's from? Don't fucking remember.
I mean, I was listening this weekend to some, whatever super boring news that I listened to. And what he did say is he's like, yeah, I don't know if I would win, but I do want to start a conversation about primarying Biden because this is fucking ridiculous. He can't seriously be the president again. Like, and he's voted with him 100% of the time, but he was
Yeah.
also like, he's 175. Let's get real.
Yeah, and I mean that's actually I think a fairly noble cause. I mean,
Mhm.
it is a real conversation that I feel like people do have. It's such a weird the Biden thing is such a weird thing that we're like everybody agrees he shouldn't be president, but no, it's like we're all too scared to say it. I mean, we're not
Mhm.
scared to say it, but like we're all tiptoeing around this notion, and I guess I see some. I would like to see more people do some version of this, but the problem with this is it's just going to splinter everybody and create so much chaos. I do
Mm.
like that it said that he was. I was reading the article off of PBS.org, and it said he has finally announced his candidacy for presidency. We were waiting, like, oh my God, Dean Phillips, we're ready to go.
You know, in profile, he looks like Will Weldon. Sorry, Matt, that's a
He
insider
does
comedy thing, which is really
Definitely
funny.
have no idea who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's another really
Uh,
funny comic. But he would
Oh, yeah.
be deeply insulted if he heard me say that, I think.
Well,
You
can
know,
you? I mean, no, I was just gonna say, like, his name is just so generic,
Mhm.
Dean
yes.
Phillips. Like, it's like it literally you could insert any name at the end there. You know, Johnson, Thomas, what
Mhm.
the fuck ever. Like, no one's gonna remember how to say this guy's name all the way.
Yeah, I read that RFK dropped out as the Democratic candidate
Oh,
and
no, he
That's
dropped
right.
out.
switching to
He did, yeah.
independent. And it's really
Oh.
crazy to me that somebody will hear that and be like, look, hey, look, Kennedy didn't think he could do it. I think I could do it. Like,
I thought you meant like
and-
dropped out entirely. I like
yeah.
in what world didn't RFK also say a while back that he was like he kind of wanted to sow chaos. That's why he's an independent because he wanted to just like take votes away from Biden. And I'm like, hey man, we're gonna end up with Trump again, which I guess I mean we endured it once.
Yeah. That's inevitable at this point.
Just barely.
It's inevitable. We're
Um,
gonna get Trump or Eric Trump, or we're gonna get one of the Trumps. I promise you. I promise
Yeah.
that somebody's coming back.
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
God. Well, yeah. I mean, I think I agree with you though, Ramsey, that it's a valid thing to say that Biden is older than dirt. But on the other hand, you probably should have fucking said something like a year and a half ago if
Mhm.
you're actually going to run against the guy to make it meaningful. It's just like I think he's just in it for the money, and apparently, he did for his 2020 campaign. Lisa, you had mentioned this to me that he had gotten some money from Harlan Crow, who's Clarence Thomas's sugar daddy, basically. And we'll see if he gave money to him now. I mean, I have to think the right wing billionaires are like, yeah, let's get behind this guy, because they were doing that with Kennedy. Like they were propping him up quite a bit.
Well, that and like if he's voting with like Trump is too crazy now. I think not that he wasn't too crazy before, but like too transparently crazy now. And I feel like
Mhm.
uh,
He's just getting
Biden's
crazier.
not progressive. So I don't know. I think he's like a safe middle of the road candidate. Meanwhile, I think Kamala Harris is just like, please let him win again because I think there's a high chance he'll die in office and I need this.
And that's the only way she could ever become president.
No.
She ran for a person who laughs inappropriately during speeches and still lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At the
she did
very
win the
worst
word
moments.
salad debate, though. Like everything she says, I'm like, what the fuck are you? It just sounds like when you're in a shitty business meeting, as though I'm like in business meetings. But she's just like, we need synergy and we need to come together and let's
Mhm.
circle back and
And work on the
roundtable this.
objectives. Yeah.
We'll
No,
have a solution by EOD.
Yeah.
yeah. Can you imagine her and Trump having a conversation? Jesus, like it would take 3 hours for them to say like a normal sentence between
Yeah,
the
I
it'd be
will
like
say
sifting through sand.
there's nothing more I want to see than Kamala and Trump have a conversation. There's nothing more I want to see.
They would
I would
actually probably understand each other.
agree.
Yeah.
That's
And
just
no one
based
else
on
would.
how it's constructed.
Yeah.
So I guess another in more political news, the Republicans finally ended their, and this is of course old by the time this comes out, but we have to talk about it. Obviously, that Mike Johnson, this crazy evangelical guy from Louisiana, is now the Speaker of the House, and this guy's insane. Like he is
Mhm.
probably the most crazy person that we've had since America was sending Confederates to the Congress. And now he's
Well,
the third in line to the presidency now.
what really blows me away about the Republican Party is, and I'm not, I genuinely, there are plenty of Republican points of view that I can at least understand,
Mhm.
but it seems like they're really moving the wrong direction. Like I'm thinking about like back in the Obama days, they had what was his name? John Boehner, is that his
Mhm.
name?
Mhm.
It used to there was a while where they were kind of moving to this like we're pro business and we're like we're leaving some of the old
Job
gay
creator.
marriage stuff. Yeah, exactly. The job creators, and they've really moved so the opposite direction that it's it's actually really so alarming. Like I think as a society, we should all be alarmed that all of us are reverting back to this stage.
Yeah, it is. Well, and what's alarming is I feel like Democrats are so passive.
Mhm.
Yep.
And it's like at some point it's going to take a turn and our only option will be to out crazy them. And it's like we can't keep escalating this. This can't be like a Japanese game show.
Yeah, yeah. That would be now. That would actually genuinely be such a great congressional debate
Yeah.
if everybody was like oiled up and had to like climb up a hill or
Yeah,
something.
American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah,
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 yeah, that's right. Or
Yeah.
a fat suit and push each
yeah.
other out
Yes.
of the ring.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think
I mean,
you.
I'm looking forward to 2028 because that's what we'll have by then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's what Trump should do for his VP running mate. I really think
Mhm.
people
Get a
would
nice.
watch that.
Oh, yeah.
People
They
would
would
watch that.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, they
I wonder
stopped
if
watching The Apprentice, but yeah, they would watch that.
has he kind of signaled who he's looking at as a VP? Is it like a Chris Christie type, or has he done anything? Do you know?
Well, he hasn't said anything directly on camera, but
Okay.
some of his people have said that he's going to go for a woman, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think maybe
really?
that's why there seems to be a competition for who's the fucking most insane between like Carrie Lake and Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And
know?
Lauren Boebert, yeah,
Yeah, all of
get
them.
her. But
Nikki Haley's not as crazy, but she's definitely in the mix for,
Yeah, yeah.
I've noticed her piping up on a lot of stuff. She's been in my life for way too long. She needs to get out of my life. There's certain people I'm like, how do I still know who you are?
I need them to expire. Yeah.
I need you guys to leave. I need you to
Return to
leave.
sender.
Why does everybody want to make money and keep talking?
I don't understand. If I had that much money, you would think I was abducted by aliens because I would just disappear
Oh,
entirely. There would
I've, yeah.
You know,
I wouldn't have a phone.
it's actually funny you said that though, Lisa, because Harry Reid actually he's the one that put this unidentified what do they call it, UAP,
Aerial phenomena.
there you go, yeah, he's the one that put all this stuff on the map actually, and he took
That's
the lead
hilarious.
in getting all that into the government, funding and all that stuff. So you got to give him props on that one.
That's the
But
most exciting shit to me is the UFO stuff. I'm like, can we
mhm,
just stay on that for a while? This is fun and I can relax for a minute when we're talking about this.
yeah.
Yeah.
And and it is a pretty good indicator that there are no aliens because like Trump was the president. So if there were aliens, can you imagine him not telling people there were aliens? I
Good,
just can't.
good
I can't
point.
imagine
Now I can
that.
also imagine them treating Trump as a child and being like, "We're just going to keep this piece of information from him as well." So
Absolutely.
almost like how like they have the fake steering wheel on a ship. I feel like there's a version of that in
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense because I've heard several times from friends that like work in DC they're like, yeah, we and I'm sure you guys have as well, but it's like they're like, yeah, there's just stuff he didn't have access to. We just
Yeah,
had to keep him away. And it's like that was the president? That's so fucking
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, that's a
Before I
toddler.
before I did comedy, I actually used to work in politics, but I worked on the state level, so I was a legislative policy aide,
Mm.
and the amount of power that staffers have around, and you'd be so shocked at how little the decision makers actually know. It's one of those things where
Yeah.
it would blow you away how little they know. And so again, I would not be surprised if they literally are like, listen, focus on your Twitter, just keep tweeting strong. Don't worry
Keep
about it. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll come out with some new emojis for you. Like, just let us know
exactly.
what you need to express yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that was how he made like he would made announcements of people being fired or hired or we're doing this thing on Twitter, and it's like
What a,
at 2 in the morning when he's sitting there taking a shit. Uh, That's what
really,
America needs again, right? Like and somebody actually is going to vote for that.
he's to me the whitehead on the zit that is American politics. It's like he's just the most exaggerated version of what people are in DC.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
in some ways, look, I don't want him ever in office again. That was too wacky of a time. But in many ways, there's yeah, it
It's a
was so
nice
wacky.
understatement there. All right. Well, yeah, you want to do Matthew Perry then?
Oh yeah. Are we gonna sing like Kumbaya or together? Yeah, Matthew Perry died, which is sad. And it felt weird to not mention.
It's so sad. I grew up. I spent a lot of time in the Middle East when I was younger, and the amount of people who know who Matthew Perry is in the
Whoa.
Middle East because they love Friends is freaking. It would blow you away. And it's one of those things where you're like, that's it. He's a very impactful guy in that sense, and so it's really sad to see. 54 is young, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really young. It's way closer to my age than I'm comfortable, like that.
Yeah.
As you get older, those numbers get a little skewed. When you're 24, you're like, I'll never be 54, and then you're 34, and you're like, that is so close. That is so close.
Yeah.
No, and then the celebrities start dying, and they're younger than you.
And
you're like,
that's a rough one. That's a rough one.
Yeah, that's right up there with like going to the doctor and they're younger than you, and you're like, ew, do
Yeah.
you even know what you're doing?
Yeah. And then when you find out you outlived other people who you looked up to while growing up, that's also a weird one as well. It's really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't like it. Not at all. I mean, listen, I really love Seinfeld. I didn't really grow up on Friends as much, but I'm infuriated every day that either of them depicts this world where you can live in fucking Manhattan in a mansion on like a barista salary. Like, the only person that lives in Manhattan in an apartment the size of Jerry Seinfeld's is probably Dave Attell. Like, you can't just
yeah. Was there a point where that made any sense, or I guess there's this thing I always tell myself where I'm like, maybe inflation was like just ruined us or something. Maybe you could be a barista and live in Manhattan.
I mean, it was certainly more affordable before Times Square was Times Square, like when it was way less safe, which if that's what we need to do to have some affordability, great. Absolutely. Tag the side of my house, put a gang next door. I don't give a shit.
I'm 100% on board. Yeah, absolutely. I'd
rather hear gunshots late into the night than pay like $4,500 for a studio apartment.
Truly, yeah. Oh yeah, as long as it's just gang violence and it's like, listen, they're going after who they're going after. I got nothing to do with this. I'm good with that.
I figure like, look, if I get caught in the crossfire, as long as I live, what is that, another like 30-minute chunk in my act?
Yeah,
please.
Oh yeah. There was a shooting at the Comedy Store last year or 2 years ago where they killed somebody, and it was a really scary thing. But then I found, because I was there that night, and I found out.
Oh God!
As soon as we found out it was a targeted hit, we were like, oh, all right, that's fine. Like, not sad. Sorry that he died, but like he was going for. It wasn't like a crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't like Tony Hinchcliffe coming in asking for more time.
Yes, exactly.
Where's my drink? Back to the set. But you know what though? I remember seeing a news story where a guy, it was a guy, he didn't want his neighborhood gentrifying, so every once in a while he would go in his backyard and shoot a gun in the air. And he would be like, yeah, see, this is keeping the properties down.
Okay, so I gotta log off and go get a gun, actually.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, tough to argue with that.
I'll just go on that like sex offender website and just start adding in that there's sex offenders in the neighborhood. Be like, you don't want to live here, man. We're full to the brim with molesters.
Yeah. Well, I guess man, this is a hard segue here. Let's see.
Yeah, you know what? It sounds like my stand-up. Just a fucking super hard left turn all of a sudden.
Yeah. Well, I guess you know what? No, here it is. So speaking of property values, this
There you
actually
go.
fits. The CEO of Blackstone, which is a private equity group that owns a lot of corporate real estate, was giving a speech in which he said that basically, people who work remotely, they don't work as hard, even though they tell you they do, and even though their output is the same or higher, they're just not working as hard. And
I
and these assholes say things like this every few months and they
Mhm.
won't say the real reason that they're saying this, which is they own office buildings. And so
Yeah.
their whole company is going to shit because no one wants to pay for their fucking office.
It's
Yeah.
I'm infuriated by these stories all the time. Like I just saw something. I write for a personal finance podcast, so I was like looking up articles for something yesterday, and they came across this one that was like, you know, what people in first class do versus like people in coach on on a flight, like trying to say that like this is why they're successful, and it's like they read and get work done. I'm like, no, man, a lot of people in coach are just like, this is the 2 hours I get away from my fucking stupid boss that I hate. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
check out and I'm gonna watch television because I work 15 hours a day and I can't handle it anymore.
It's also
Yeah.
hard to read with somebody's elbow inside of my eye. So it's like there's also that part,
You're
Yeah.
the least comfortable you will be for the entire
Well,
year.
and you
Yeah.
get free, champagne on a lot of airlines when you're in.
Yeah.
It's like of course you're going to fall asleep. That's what. And they
You're gonna
have
fall asleep, you're
giant
gonna read,
fucking
you're
pillows
gonna,
in there, man. Like of
yeah,
course you're going to go to sleep.
yeah. Meanwhile, I have to pay $95 extra so that I can put my bag in there and use the Wi-Fi and use the bathroom and like sit
And
up
just
straight. Like,
and they're like, dignity is also an upgrade. So
yeah,
don't even
truly,
fucking think
truly,
about it.
truly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
here's what I'll say about the whole um, you know employees work harder in the office than they do at home. I, as somebody who worked at home remotely and worked in an office, let me say this: I worked equally as not hard at both places. I just did it in different ways. At home when I was I was just sort of fucking off and doing my own thing. But in the office, I just went to the bathroom a bunch. I spent a lot of time standing places I shouldn't be standing.
Yeah.
The
Hey, me
least
too,
they can do
man.
is
I
just
never
makes me
took
happy.
That's right. I never took so many smoke breaks and never smoked. It was great.
Yeah, absolutely. I started smoking for the reason to go like, what a great way to leave this hellhole for a minute. Like, we're gonna waste the time. Like, we're gonna waste the time. So just let us waste the time the way we want to waste it. Like
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
Yeah. Well, and like that, yeah, the idea that you're helping people be productive by making them, get dressed in a certain period of time, go sit in an hour or more of traffic. And it's like, yeah, that's being productive for your company. When you could be,
Yeah.
just go to your bedroom, go to the one side of your room or whatever other room and turn on your computer. Boom.
It's also like, God forbid, people don't sit in traffic for 3 hours a day, 5
Oh
days a
no.
week, and,
Yeah.
just
And then not
lose
get
their
any
life to traffic.
compensation for it. Jesus, like, I mean,
None.
that's what's so fucked up about it. Like, they should make like I think there should be a tax on offices
Yeah.
and they should be
Ooh.
Yeah, if your
compelled to pay
city's
for
too
people's.
expensive to live in, like, with a reasonable driving distance for you to work there. It's like if your income isn't commensurate with the cost of living, then it's like, okay, well, you should pay. So, I mean, listen, I've got a lot of ideas, but nobody's asking me, so
Yeah. Yeah.
that's really
Sorry.
unfortunate.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Lisa,
Well,
we're
hey,
holding off on asking you as a society.
you're on the right. Well, you're on the right place to give policy ideas on a comedy podcast. That's
Listen,
exactly
this
where
is
they're turning
not
for.
yeah, this is not, that wouldn't be any more ridiculous than what we are doing. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
where
Hey,
are you guys coming up
fair.
with this shit? Like a Cracker Jack box? I don't
Yeah.
understand. Also,
Yeah.
I'm in my late 70s. That's why I'm
Yeah.
referencing Cracker
Cracker
Jacks.
Jack? What the hell are you talking about?
Wait till I get started on Bit of Honey. Like, you have no idea.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah. This is I love this story. The fucking American Airlines pilot
Oh yeah.
who like disrupted the flight and then was like, "Yeah, dude, I was on psychedelics. What do you expect?"
This to me is I actually made my girlfriend read this article because she had this weird like she coincidentally when you sent this to me had this weird like dream about a plane crashing or whatever, and I
Whoa.
was like, this is how really amazing the technology of flight is. This guy was high on mushrooms, and everyone was okay. Like this to me made me feel so good about flying after reading it.
Yeah, and and he was also, it was like slightly responsible.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, because obviously, if you're doing something like that, you should kind of do it by yourself or with some friends in a space that you can't fuck yourself up or others. But at least he told people, hey, I think you should, get me out of here because something's bad is going to happen. And it is true, like sometimes you get high and it comes back to you days after the fact. Like it is true.
Mushrooms is an interesting one too because it's always set and setting. You know, like hey, like where are we at? What do we do? Like you
Yeah.
want to be in nature, you want to be near a babbling, spring of stuff. You know, the idea of being in a small box with a bunch of knobs and levers and lights that are blinking and people that are crying and seeing the sadness of like what a horrible what a terrible idea. That's the only thing I think that really it's not even that he was doing mushrooms, it's that he was irresponsible enough to choose the like what an awful setting
Can you
for
imagine if one of the this is so dark, but if one of the pilots on 9/11 had been on mushrooms, like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Well, see, I can.
I love mushrooms so much, by the way. I'm such a pusher. I am
Oh,
such a
they're the best.
pusher. I have a ton at my house now, and I'll like microdose like once a week if I have the day
Yeah.
off. I will say one of the best days of my life, I did mushrooms at Disneyland, and I can't recommend it enough. It was so amazing.
Mushrooms are amazing. The thing is I don't want to be high as a passenger on an airplane because I'm constantly like I know that I'm going to freak out at some point, and then they're going to have to land the plane, and then the Department of Homeland Security is going to arrest me. Like I have all these. So the idea that he was willing to fly the plane high is just amazing to me.
Oh yeah.
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 I mean, as long as you have a
both of you-
co-pilot, what's really the
Yeah,
issue here?
yeah. As long as both of you aren't high,
It's basically the same as our setup with like a president and a vice president. One of them is completely lost and off the planet, and then the other one's just kind of like, I mean, I guess I'm here in case you fuck up too bad.
Yeah, I don't really have any
Yeah.
other job. There's a tie in the Senate.
Yeah.
It's the only job they have is if you die, I'll step in, or if the Senate is tied. That's the only two jobs.
Yeah.
It's a great
Yeah.
gig. It's a great gig.
It's like otherwise, they're like an on-call waiter, basically.
Yeah, truly, truly, you get to live in a,
Yeah.
what is it like the Silver House? They have like a smaller, like different kind of. It's not the white. It's some kind of colored house. I don't know what it is, but you get to live in a nice house.
Sure.
Salary. Not that good.
Actually, I think they make you live in a naval observatory. That's actually where it
Oh.
is. Yeah.
Really?
But
Oh,
it's
wow.
some house that's on the back because I've actually driven
Yeah.
past it when I used to live in DC.
It's like essentially the guest house.
Yeah.
Something
It's a
like that.
studio. It has like
No, I
a
like
couch
that.
bed.
I like
You know what?
Kamala Harris is sleeping in a submarine that they he lives in a submarine that's on the
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like actually that is the plot of Minions, Ramsey. I think that's what you're thinking of here. But though, inadvertently, I think we made these stories line up though, the Simpsons story with what Mr. Burns said. And this
What did
and
Mr.
the
Burns
and the
say?
plane crashing because so the Simpsons they just started their 35th season. That's just incredible. I think it's
Mhm.
now the longest running show in the history of television, and has been for a while. But
Wow.
anyway, they're known for making predictions, and of course, most infamously predicting Donald Trump would be the president. Sadly, but they predicted
Living proof.
now. Yes, that's right, and they predicted that Elon Musk will be forced to sell Twitter. and Mr. Burns will buy it from him.
I mean, that
And
would be
so,
better.
Yeah.
but yeah, no, and it's funny the way they had him phrase it. They had it was a bargain. The previous owner had to sell it after his self-driving Mars rocket crashed into the International Space Station. Like,
These are
I'd
all
be
things that are going to happen for sure, no question.
yeah, we just need to make sure that Elon is on the rocket. That's all I ask. That's all I
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah.
Definitely the least favorite of the billionaires. I think I was thinking about this yesterday. In terms of the billionaires, Bezos, as much as we hate Bezos, as much as we hate billionaires,
Mhm.
Bezos at the very least did something, created or started this company that kind of conveniences all of us. So as much
Hmm.
as we hate Bezos, we're like, well, I love 2-day shipping.
We're all fucking hypocrites in that regard.
We're
Hmm.
all hypocrites in that regard. Elon did nothing but annoy us with between Tesla drivers and
Mhm.
Dogecoin. He is on the very bottom of that list,
Yeah.
and I do hope he gets launched.
I do appreciate that. To your point, Ramsey, I do appreciate that Bezos doesn't try to be a comedian. Like, if
No.
he comes out, if Chappelle brings him out, so help me, then we like super have to cancel Chappelle.
Can I also say this about Bezos? Doesn't have hair transplant. I mean, that to me is
Yeah.
he has so much money. The man could have a new hair. He could have
He
like
could have a head
He could
transplant.
have his whole body covered in fur. Like, that's how much
completely,
money he has.
and then just lasered off the next day, and then
Yes,
Cat Williams'
and
hair
they
the day
would,
after
yeah,
that,
like Chia Pet. He could do
Hmm.
that. He has enough money to do that.
and he
Like one of
stays
those.
bald.
Yeah, and he's bald, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
a
he's
That's
good
not
point.
like I think also what grates on me about Elon is he's constantly doing these fucking stupid he'll do an interview with anyone. He'll probably actually we should try to get him on here. And he just like does this pontification that like he is stupid people's idea of a smart person, and it drives me out of my fucking mind because people are like, "Oh,
Yeah,
he's a genius. He just
Yeah.
invented
yeah.
whatever thing." And it's like, "No, he
No,
never
it already
invented it."
existed.
The only thing he quote unquote invented was the idea of having like a single car tunnel.
And then
As
he didn't do it.
Which is incredible. Yeah,
it's
Yeah, and
also
then he
like
didn't even do
you just invented insufficient trains, my guy. What are you talking
it.
about?
Yeah, you know what though? No, your point though, Lisa, about a stupid person's idea of a smart person, that is actually so true. Because like
Mhm.
part of as part of my reporting for other stuff, I read right wing blogs like the Gateway Pundit, which is like the run by the stupidest man on the internet. That's his nickname people have for him. And like he's got these, those scammy ads you see on some backwater website, that you can't. It's like
Mhm.
some weird organ thing, and it's like eat this to cure your cancer.
yeah.
It's like,
Shark. They shows the guys from Shark Tank like thumbs
yeah,
upping
that's
like
right, that's right.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So all of those ads, almost all of them, have switched over to Elon Musk in the ad.
Oh
It
my
is
god.
Ooh,
incredible, and it's like
ooh.
these are the people who like Elon Musk.
Mhm.
Yes,
The people dumb
yes.
enough to click on the eat this thing to the one weird
Bankers
trick.
hate the secret. The secret
Doctors
to paying
hate
off
this
your house.
medicine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love doctors hating medicine.
Yeah.
Insane.
But that's who
It's
the
pretty
market
crazy.
is. So you are
Yeah,
so right about that, Lisa.
it's very
Um,
true. Yeah, yeah, it's very true. And look, obviously Elon is a smart guy, obviously, but it's a mixture of grifter and smart, and
Mhm.
and and that tricks people into thinking he's super genius or what. It's like obviously. Look, I'm not gonna say he's a dumb guy, but he really
Sure.
is the dumb guy, smart guy. It's really, I think, beautifully put.
Yeah, and
yeah.
we don't need him to speak up on everything.
Zero. I
It's
need
like
him to
just
be
tell us
just
why you decided to invest in was it PayPal? That
PayPal.
was like
Just
what
go
launched
zip
him. It's
pay.
like
Yeah.
tell us how you sniffed that out and knew that that was going to be great. That's
Well,
all I
I
want
think
to.
I don't even
That's
think he
because he was a
invested in it.
libertarian anarchist idiot. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he
I think
thought
PayPal
that
bought
it
his
was,
company.
yeah, PayPal
Oh.
bought,
Yeah.
he had, no, that was actually why he renamed Twitter X, because
Uh,
he had a company called X and it was going down the
Oh god,
drain.
he's so exhausting.
yeah.
Yeah, no, honestly, like it's the worst story to end on a podcast, so I'm not gonna. It's funny, but like not in a haha funny, more like
Yeah.
Mhm.
God, this dude is such an asshole. Haha, that kind of funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. Well, so Ramsey, where can people keep up with you. We gotta. Lisa's got our heart out here, so I want to make sure she hits it.
Yeah, gotta go to the
Yeah.
dentist, which is fun.
Well, what are you getting done at the dentist before I
Oh, I'm getting a crown. I know we both have
Breaking
had
news.
some serious
Yeah.
dental. So I had an emergency root canal on Friday. That was really a good time, and now I have to get the crown on that. So it's like it's cool because like what was great about it is it only cost me $3,700. So it's like
Mhm.
it's
Only.
and it's not a gold tooth. It's not a solid
Yeah.
gold tooth at all. It's just a tooth.
They're not
I
giving
lost this.
a grill, Lisa. Come on
Yeah.
now.
I lost this front tooth earlier this year. It was the front tooth, and I had to go to Mexico to get it fixed.
Mhm.
But there was a while when I really considered not fixing it. I genuinely was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just use this
Wait,
guy.
why did you?
Like, if you don't think now my entire healthcare is based in Mexico, you're out of your mind. It was so like I got my tooth replaced for like $1,200, which is like it was like I got quoted like $7,000 to get all this stuff done
That's
here.
insane.
Like, yeah, so I gotta fix it.
And then it's like you might have like a little lisp and you're
Even if it
Yeah,
makes it would make smoking easier though. You ever thought
it
about
would make
that?
smoking easier. No question about that. But it just looked like a drunk.
you'd
every
have
time
to
you
be
opened your mouth.
constantly smoking though to like cover it up. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. So I'm totally
Yeah.
gonna cut all that out. Sorry, guys.
You're fine.
man.
We missed a
No, I'm
story
kidding.
here.
I'm leaving that in. but-
Okay. Oh yeah, Ramsey, do you want to plug your stuff?
Follow me on my social media handle here and check out my YouTube channel. That is Ramdog with 3 G's. I post videos there every week and would love to have you guys check it out.
Yeah. Is your podcast up on there too?
Yeah, my podcast is up on there as
And
well.
what is
Awesome.
it called? What's it
Lying Flat is the name of the podcast, and it's I would say if you like this podcast, it's very similar, but much darker.
called?
A lot more like Lisa's Mushrooms 9/11.
Okay then.
It's very funny. I love it.
And Mexican dentistry as well.
And then,
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
Mexican dentistry talk.
Yeah,
All
I got to
right.
get on board with that. And please just follow me on Instagram because that's all anybody cares about. Olympian Lisa Curry, and feel free to follow me on Venmo. Same handle.
Nice. That's a new one there. I like that, Lisa.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, make sure to follow at Doomscroll Show, and then you can follow me on a lot of places on at Matt Schiff. So that's it for this one.
Cool. Thanks.
We'll see everybody next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for having me.